Hey there YouTube, it's Patricia with through-these-eyes.com, and today I thought I was going to try something a little different. Up until now my videos have been pretty random, I'll be the first to admit it, and I think it's time for a little change. If you were like me, you grew up hearing all the time when you're in mixed company or when you're in company in general, there are two things you shouldn't talk about: politics and religion. And recently, there's just been so much going on in the world that I just thought, you know, it's about time to break that rule. I may cause some controversy. I may cause some people to get angry. I may lose some friends. I hope I might gain some friends. And I may have family that won't speak to me. But, not that they really watch my videos. But anyway, this is what I thought I'd do. I'm going to try to put out a video a week talking about something controversial. It could be religion, it could be politics, it could be who knows what. But anyway, that's my goal. And I hope you stick along for the ride. So I'm going to jump in feet first. The first thing I want to talk about today is something that I've been hearing a lot on the news, on cable news anyway. The controversy over free speech and the shooting that happened in Texas. I believe it was last weekend, or maybe now it's been 2 weeks ago, Sunday. Anyway, let me digress. One of the reasons why I'm doing this is because not a lot of people that I know are up to date with what's going on in the world. And not that I claim to be some big expert, and I'm not, constantly reading every news article and watching all kinds of different outlets of media, but I try to kind of understand what's going on, and I'm hoping to help some people that might be interested but don't feel like, reading all this kinds of stuff, have a little bit of information. So anyway, in case you hadn't heard, I want to say probably 2 Sundays ago now, there was a shooting that happened in Texas. It happened in a small town of Garland, Texas, which is just outside of Dallas, I believe. There's a woman by the name of Pamela Geller, Pam Geller. She leads an organization called the American Freedom Defense Initiative. And she decided that she was going to hold a rather controversial contest. It was a Draw Muhammad cartoon contest. Now, from what I've been able to gather, it wasn't a what's the worst way you could draw Muhammad contest. It wasn't what's the evilest position you can draw Muhammad in contest. It wasn't a what's the biggest way we could slander Muhammad contest. It was simply a draw Muhammad contest. Now, from what I know, which is very little, of the Muslim religion, according to the Quran, you are not supposed to put Muhammad in any kind of depiction whatsoever, be it in praise or in mocking. So the mere idea of drawing Muhammad is blasphemous. Okay. That aside, her goal was to stir up controversy in defense of our American free speech. She knew it would be controversial, and she was okay with that. And personally, in my opinion, kudos to her, because our First Amendment right to free speech isn't just for nice speech we want to hear. It's specifically for speech that you may not want to hear. And this may sound like a talking point, but it defends the KKK from what they say. It defends atheists who talk about Catholics and Christians. It allows people to say whatever they want to say, as long as it's not immediately going to, cause a mass stampede out of yelling fire in a movie theater. But it defends pornography. It defends things that make us uncomfortable or things that make us unhappy. But that is the point of our First Amendment right of free speech. So anyway, she chose Garland, Texas, because earlier this year, in January, a group of Muslims held a meeting in that same venue, and I believe it was right after the Charlie Hebdo mass killings. At least this is according to the AP, is what I read on one of their news articles. So I didn't research too much about what happened in that meeting, other than they claimed that it was to bring Muslims together in support of Muhammad. The Muslim gathering in January was to show support for Muhammad, for their prophet, not to condemn the killings at Charlie Hebdo. Okay, so that's bothersome to me. I don't know about you, but it's bothersome to me. And obviously it bothered the hell out of Pamela. So she said, you know what? If they're going to support Muhammad in this building in this little town of Texas, little town in Texas, then she chose that same venue, since it was open to them to, speak freely of, praising Muhammad and, in effect, sorry those Parisians had to die, but they offended Muhammad and we support Muhammad, so they got what they deserved. Since they were allowed to have their meeting there and they weren't interrupted and they weren't banned from doing so, she chose the same venue to have a contest to draw Muhammad. And again, I say it's not to draw Muhammad in the worst, character possible. It wasn't, at least as far as I know. I haven't seen any of the entries for this contest. But anyway, so she had this contest, and two radical Muslim supporters drove about 100 miles to Garland, armed with automatic weapons, aiming to seek revenge. Now, Pamela knew there was going to be some issues. They had their own security. They had hired extra police to be on the lookout, basically. And when these two gunmen arrived and they got out of their vehicles, they proceeded to just shoot. Luckily, they were bad shots and got one security guard in the ankle. But a nearby off-duty traffic officer was able to take them out. And from what I hear, it was with a Glock, or just a pistol, nothing super fancy. But anyway, kudos to that officer, and both of the would-be assassins were killed. Good riddance. No one of the 200 people inside the building were hurt, so that's great. And her planning worked. But it also worked to create this huge nationwide debate of whether or not she should have even done it in the first place. Anyway, that's kind of the big controversial thing. It's like, okay, she knew that she was putting these people's lives in danger, and she went ahead and did it anyway. And all the people that participated knew they were putting their life on the line to do it, and they did it anyway. And a lot of the Muslim clerics are saying, they're calling her horrific names, and there is a threat out on her life. Okay, so, and according to the recent things that I've heard, the FBI does not have her under protection yet. We'll see if that changes. Anyway, my opinion, I say kudos to her. I say, I I'm glad she did it. And honestly, I would like to see some of the entries to this contest, just out of curiosity. But, you know, like I said before, our First Amendment right isn't just for things that we want to hear. It allows me to come on YouTube and talk about this. And I don't have a fear of being arrested tomorrow. I can share with you that I support her 100%. And I'm sure you guys can leave all kinds of comments saying that I'm stupid, she should die, whatever. And that's okay. You're entitled to your opinion, and that's what our First Amendment is for. Okay. Whether or not Pamela Geller should have held this event or not, to me, is irrelevant. I'm trying to make the distinction here between our First Amendment freedom of speech and what I think people are kind of muddling up with this issue of manners, basically. It comes down to manners, right? Because we've all heard, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Okay, fine. Should she have said it? I don't care. The point is, our First Amendment right gives us the freedom to do it. And we should all be adults enough to be able to respect someone's opinion. Freedom of speech protects not only things we want to hear, things that make us feel good, but hate speech is protected. Like I said, pornography is protected. Things that make us uncomfortable. The art display of Jesus in urine. Nobody went out there to protest that. There were no mass killings over that. The image of Mary slathered in dung didn't create a mass uproar amongst the Catholic community. Nobody was calling for anybody's head, because we are civil and mature enough to, as much as we hate it, they have the right to do that. But radical Muslims aren't at that level, basically. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. I think they're crazy. The fact that two men drove 100 miles to kill people for drawing a cartoon is just unfathomable to me. I can't believe that someone would be that inanely stupid and committed to something that they would do that. Which brings me to why, again, this is so important. Well, there's several things going on here. Like I said, I'm going to try to keep this video as short as I can, and I already know it's gone on way too long. But our right to say what we want is what keeps us from tyranny. I mean, the old USSR, the old Nazi Germany, China today, North Korea today, and now Iran and Saudi Arabia, these places, if you say something they don't like, they will kill you. Do we want to live in that kind of society where, she shouldn't have said that, she shouldn't have done that? I mean, they're going to kill her now. Heaven forbid they are successful. And, I would put the blame 100% on our government if she isn't protected. But she shouldn't have to be. She shouldn't have to be protected over wanting to have an event that simply portrayed a character. I wanted to open a discussion here. I want people to be aware of what's going on, because it really is, as stupid as it may sound to some people, it is so important. Because the minute we start caving in to a small group, their demands, as soon as we start to fear that and fear saying anything or doing something that may piss them off, then we have done it to ourselves. We have narrowed our freedom that much more. And, You know, I already feel like we live in a tyrannical government that takes our money and spends it how they deem is best. And well, that's gonna be a whole other different video. But anyway, again, I wanted to give you some background, tell you what I know, and hopefully start a debate, because people, you have to understand our freedom of speech. There's a reason why it's number one. It is so beyond important that we feel comfortable enough to express ourselves. And, you know, so radical Muslim jihadists, that's what I think of you. And I'm glad those two are dead. And like I said, it was a traffic cop who took those guys out with one of these. Nothing super fancy, just a basic Glock. And he knew how to use it. And believe me, I do too. So kudos to him. Pamela, if you ever get to watch this video, know that I support you 100%. And yeah, people, protect your freedom of speech. Let me know what you think. Even if you don't like what I have to say, that's your freedom and I respect it. Anyway, all right, thanks for watching. Again, more of these videos to come. I hope you find them interesting, enlightening. Let me know in the comments below. And yeah, thanks for watching.